My name is Cypher Morrison, and this is This Week in Car Audio. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Tune in. We'll be talking about bass, talking about chips, talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio. Yeah. Tune in. This Week in Car Audio.
Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, Doug Stockton, and your co-host, Lucky McGovern. We got our guest this week is going to be JP. That's Johnathan Price from Down for Sound. Good afternoon, Jonathan. How's it going?
Good afternoon. Great. Glad to be here.
Good to have you on, man. I'm going to be sharing these videos right now, so I'll let you kick it off, Doug, while I share some of this, then I'll jump in.
All right, I have to do one minor adjustment to his screen because I got him. He switched screens to his phone. Yep, that's okay. I can make that adjustment.
People can have two angles of JP. Here, get both of them.
No, I got it fixed.
Wipe him out.
There we go. We got you in there now. All right. Hey, so first off, why don't you introduce yourself and your company and whatnot?
My name is Johnathan Price, owner and operator of downforsoundshop.com. And I like car audio. I go to a bunch of different car audio shows throughout the year. I've been doing that for a very long time. But that's my company, and we distribute car audio worldwide. So that's what we do.
Okay. So, I mean, I know these are mostly lucky questions usually, but here I do have a couple of questions. So what actually got you into the car audio thing?
Oh, this is funny that you bring that up. I literally just posted on my Facebook, I think it was on Friday, that like the story of what got me hooked on car audio.
Okay.
Back in the day, I think I was 12 or 13. I was riding with my mom in her van in the town of Greenville, Mississippi. That's where I'm from. Little 15, 20,000 person country bumpkin type town.
You can tell by your hick voice.
Right. got that southern twang going on.
Yes,
Even though like a lot of people have said I've lost a lot of it since I moved to Vegas 5 years ago. But the story goes is I was riding with my mom in her van, and we pull up at this red light, and I hear this sound. Like, we're sitting at the red light, and I hear this sound I've never heard before. I'm like, what the heck is that? And I look at my mom, and she's got this like disgusted look on her face, like, oh my gosh, this is just a bunch of crap. Like we all know now or whatever. But anyway, she's all like giving the stank face because she doesn't like the bass. I didn't even know what it was at that time because I'd never heard it before in my life. So this guy in a red truck pulls up beside me, and I look over there, and it like his windshield wipers are popping off the windshield, and his mirrors are shaking, and I can see his roof waving and everything. I'm like, holy crap, what is that? What's causing it? I don't know what it is, but that's awesome. Anyway, the light turns green, and like we go our separate ways, and I never see the dude again until about 2 years later. Back in my day, when you could get what was called a hardship license. If you were 14 or 14 and a half, you could get it, but you could only use it to drive between like the hours of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. just to go to your job, basically, if you had a job. So my first job was chopping cotton in the fields of Mississippi for a place called Delta Pineland. So anyway, I was on my way home from chopping cotton that day, and I pull up at a red light, and it's like deja vu. It happens all again, but I'm in my dad's truck, and I hear this bass, or I didn't know what it was. I hear this sound, and it's shaking my dad's truck. I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? And then the dude pulls up beside me again. I'm like, holy crap. Like like I got to follow this dude. So the light
same red truck?
Green. Yeah, the same red truck, okay. Same guy. Like, so it's just a year and a half, 2 years later. And he pulls up, and I'm like, I'm following this dude wherever he's going. I mean, I went full creeper mode on him. I'm like, I don't know where you're going, but I'm going with you. So anyway, he pulls into the into the gas station, and I pull up beside him, and I get out. I'm like, hey man, I know you don't know me, but like, what's making your truck do that? And he's like, I got a system in there. I'm like, a system? What is that? And because I had no idea about audio whatsoever. And so anyway, he's like, oh, I got like subwoofers and amps and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, can I see it? Of course, man, come check it out. And at that time, this was over 22 years ago. So like way back in the day, I had, and he had, it was some sort of like 212s or 215s in a Chevy extended cab truck. And he had the back seats taken out and sort of like a platform back there. And it was done up real nice. He had that in there, and he had 3 toolboxes. One went across the front of the bed, and then 2 side toolboxes that went on the side. He had all the batteries in the front toolbox, and then amps laid out across there. And then in the back side toolbox, he had like all of his crossovers and stuff. Come to find out, he worked at the local audio shop or whatever, and it was like a demo vehicle that he did. He owned it, but very nice install and everything. And I'm like, man, can I hear it? Of course, man. So he's like, jump in the passenger seat. So I jump in the passenger seat, and man, like when the bass waves hit me like the first time, I was like, I was hooked, man. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I love this. And I got out. I was like, I heard the roof rippling and stuff, and I got to get out and see that for myself. So I get out and I look up there. I'm just like, I'm sure I look like a kid in a candy store. I'm just all amazed by it, like that a speaker can actually cause metal to ripple like that and all that stuff. And anyway, so that's how JP got hooked on bass, like that guy coming by. And it just so happened that like the same exact dude 2 years later ended up like being there. And I pulled up beside him, and he gave me my first demo, and been hooked ever since. Even funnier story is literally like yesterday or the day before yesterday, like I hand write thank yous on all the invoices I can. When people place orders with me, like they're to be printed out and brought into my office, and I thank you Lucky, thank you Doug, thank you, like everybody that does orders, like I handwrite thank yous on there, just to provide like a little bit more caring in the orders or whatever. And I was signing the thing, thank you, ER, and I looked up at the name, I was like, Eric, and I looked down, Greenville, Mississippi. What the heck? This is a dude that gave me my first demo. Like, this was literally like 2 or 3 days ago. It like gives me goosebumps just talking about it. But I'm like, oh my gosh, like it just took me back to like when I got my first demo. Like this dude, 22 years later, is now ordering his car audio from me. He got me hooked on it, and now he's buying it from me. I just like, it gave me like such a moment, and it took me back, and I was just blown away by it. I'm like, man, this is so awesome. I called him, or I sent him a message, and I called him. I'm like, dude, like I want to send you some free t-shirts and all this swag and everything. He's like, what? I just wanted to buy some stuff from you. I'm like, no, dude, you just like took me down memory lane with your order. He's like, okay, cool. So I sent him out some freebies with his stuff. So really cool.
Here's the important question. Yeah. What song was it?
I have no idea.
You don't?
No idea.
Okay.
No, I mean, because at that time I didn't even know what bass was. Like,
So for me, I went to this place in Reno called Nevada Auto Sound. It's right on Virginia Street, right just past downtown. It's over by the Peppermill Casino, right across the street. And
shout out Rusty at DC.
Yep, actually they're one of Rusty's DC dealers in town there, right?
Awesome.
So Rusty's a good friend of mine, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you know between, but yeah, I
stay at his house.
Okay, so Rusty's a good dude, right? So I've known Rusty a long time. So anyway, so I'm at that stereo shop. I'm 15 years old. I think 15 and a half. I just got my license. In the state of Nevada at the time, at 15 and a half, you can get your license, or on your 16th birthday, you can get your license. You get a permit at 15 and a half, right? So, anyway. So, and you can do that still to this day, that hardship license at 14. That's still available in the state of California, at least.
Oh, nice.
So, cool. But anyway, so I'm going into the stereo shop, and I'm checking out Eminem Godfather everywhere, right? That's the sub brand they used, and then the amps they were using Hyphonics. So, so the amps, Hyphonics amps, old school, Zeus, Odin, Cyclops. You know, old school Series 7, right? Series 5. Zeus. Yeah, Series 5, Series 7, right? So this was way back in the days. As a matter of fact, that would have been like 88, 89-ish, right? And so I'm walking out of the store, and all of a sudden, bam! I mean, just like somebody just punched me in my chest. And I was like, whoa! I had the door halfway open. I was like, what the hell was that? So it was a red Mighty Max jacked up with a camper shell on it.
That was awesome.
Right? Dude, my face was all up in his glass. What's up? He had 8 Eminem Godfather 15s and a single Zeus running all 8 of the 15s. And
Nice.
that song was Madonna Like a Prayer. Dude, I swear
I
to you.
remember it like it was yesterday.
Nice. Oh, man.
And then, boom! I was like, whoa! So, to be honest with you, every time I've hooked up a system since then, the first song I
started with
there,
that one.
I start every
That's
system
awesome.
with Madonna Like a Prayer.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's the cool thing about today now is like, you got all these songs. You could literally pick any song you want and just put in whatever frequency you want, and boom, there it is. Play it. So yeah, that's a good thing.
So one of the questions in here real quick was Tristan Paris. She's Bridgetown, Barbados. So they are trying to become they are actually not trying to, but they are a distributor for a handful of products out there. They also
DC
have
Audio.
DC Audio being one of them. And they are definitely, they're international person that watches all these podcasts with us. Really great people. It's Tristan and Tiffany Paris. They own
SQ
Sounds. Anyway, so Tristan asks, how did you end up starting Down for Sound?
The story. So it depends on how long people have been following me, but I was going to car audio. I was going to car audio shows for years, and the more I went to shows and the more involved and in depth I got into car audio, it started raising a lot of questions. And then I had a little system in my Tahoe, but then obviously everybody knows the godfather of YouTube, Steve Mead. Yeah, he was doing his thing and everything. I'm like, man, that's really cool with 418s and getting this cool videos on YouTube. And I was a fan of his, and I'm like, man, that's awesome. I want to get a system like that. So he kind of inspired me on getting a bigger, a higher level system, more powerful or whatever. So I'm like, well, his is doing awesome. I want to get 418s and 20,000 watts and all this stuff too. I want to basically duplicate that in an older Tahoe, my Tahoe, and just kind of go around and start doing demos. So I started doing that for a while and started gaining a following. And the more that I went to shows, obviously, the more known I got, the more exposure I got and everything like that. So eventually I was going to shows, and I wanted to, at first it was just to go to shows. It wasn't to do anything. I never thought about selling anything whatsoever. I was like, oh, I just want to go to shows and have a good time or whatever, just to be a basshead. So I would go there, and then these people would say, they would get a demo and they'd be blown away. Fast forward a couple of years or whatever, when I'm getting even more following, I pull up to shows and people are running after my truck, oh, let me hear it, dude. I've been seeing you on YouTube, getting that type of reaction when I pull up at shows. So the hype was getting more real, I guess you could say. So the line was growing to get a demo on my truck and everything. And then when these people would get a demo at that time, I think when it really started, I think that's when I had the 1018s in my Tahoe, when it graduated from 418s to 1018s. And a sealed, it was a sealed enclosure. It was somewhat of a fourth order, but it was just a sealed box. The fourth order part was just that it had an opening towards the front.
Right.
Anyway, so at that point, at that level, or at that time, 1018s on 30,000 watts was a huge deal. It wasn't really anybody else doing that. So when I would go to shows, I was just running the game. Nobody else was doing anything like that, especially hair tricks at that time. It was unheard of, to really be blowing wigs back, I guess you could say.
Right.
Some people would have a little movement, but I'm over here just totally ripping hair out. But anyway, so obviously it was more impressive for the people that heard it, and they wanted hey, where do you get your car audio from? That question started coming up, and I'm like, oh, I just, at that time I wanted, I was running Sundown SAZ 4500s, a PSI platform 318s, excess power battery. So obviously when somebody sponsors you, it's your part of the deal to promote their company. You're supposed to uphold your end of the deal. And I could go on a tangent about sponsorships too, if y'all want to talk about that. Anyway, so I was just pushing them to these companies, websites, whatever, sundownaudio.com, excesspower.com, go over there, buy your stuff from them. That's where I get it from. So, and then this kept happening, and about, I don't know, the third or fifth time somebody getting a demo at another show sometime later, asked me, hey, where do you get your car audio from? Is the light bulb went off in my head. I could be selling these people this stuff. I could be supplying this stuff to these people. And then that's when I reached out to Jacob at Sundown Audio, and he actually shot me down 3 times. He's like, no, we're not looking for any more online dealers. We have enough. And I was running PSI subs for, at that time, probably 3 or 4 years. And I was putting out all these videos for David at PSI. And like, I was getting him a ton of exposure. I mean, they're still on the internet. There's no telling how many millions of views I got PSI from, but he was one of the ones that stepped out and extended the olive branch for me before anybody would. Like, he started, at first I was paying like regular price, and the more recognition I got for him, the more value I brought to him. If you're listening and you're wondering about sponsorship, you need to know how to bring value to a company. And this is what can happen. So I was bringing more and more value. I was going to all these shows. I was putting out all these videos, getting more followers for PSI. And then eventually, like when I need recones or whatever, he went to like half price. And then he just started giving them to me because he's like, man, you're doing a great job promoting PSI, blah, blah, blah. So I really helped he already had his name out there, but I definitely poured a bunch of gas on the fire for him. Like it definitely blew up on the internet when I started like promoting PSI. So I didn't know this until 2 years ago. I was at Scotty Johnson's house for the Exodus Power Show, and Jacob Fuller and David ended up being there, and we were like sitting around talking, and he brought up, he's like, Jacob Fuller said, if it wasn't for this guy right here, you probably wouldn't be selling Sundown Audio. I was like, what? And I was like, man, like I've sold a bunch of Sundown. He was like, I know, but like you were asking me several times, like, could you be a dealer for Sundown? And like, how many times did I tell you no? Because I was sticking to what I told my other dealers or whatever. And we actually had a spot open up, and another person was supposed to get it. But I messaged David because I know you had been like doing a lot of videos for him. And he said, I messaged David, and David said, there's nobody else out there that's going to work as hard as JP does. There's something about him that 120% will stand behind you picking JP for the next dealer. I guarantee you it'll be like your wisest decision you could ever make. And like, I never knew that until 2 years ago, but that lets you know, like me doing like all the stuff I was doing for David at PSI ended up being not only a cool deal for me and David at PSI, but it ended up being the reason I was able to sell Sundown so many years later, because I upheld my end of the deal. I represented the company in a professional manner, and it ended up like, I mean, the rest is history. I probably sold $10 million worth of Sundown. So like, that just lets you know like how it happened. So anyway, that's when the light bulb went off, and I was like, okay, I need to start picking up the brands, obviously, that I'm carrying in my Tahoe, because I'm already demonstrating them, like what they can do and everything like that. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
I mean, there you could see your warehouse right there behind you in the in the window. So I mean, that's a full-on warehouse. That's just not like it's not in your garage, a handful of amplifiers that you get delivered once a week,
Right. I mean, I started that way though. Like I try not to knock people that have that hustle and have that, you have to start somewhere. And I literally started, like, I just shared some pictures not too long ago on my Facebook, like where I was like, I had every product that I owned at Down for Sound was in my parents' attic. It was like, I mean, I was scared that I was going to wake up in the middle of the night sometime, and all this stuff was going to crash through the ceiling and everything. I started there. I was processing shipments in my mom's little office there. I was boxing stuff on the island in the kitchen. Like I started like from the dirt. I got it out the mud. Like I didn't start out with now 30,000 square foot warehouse. I started with my parents' attic and slowly made little transitions here and there. It's just on another level when we make like jumps from one place to the next. Like it's like our last place was 7,500 square feet, and then we just moved 7 months ago, something like that, to this 30,000 square foot place, and now we're almost out of room again.
Hey, Lucky, you want to hit up some shout outs there on the?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and last time I was at your shop recently, I didn't get to go through the whole tour, man.
He was on a mission
out there. I was on a mission, but yeah, man. Congratulations on the new place.
Yes.
So we got Chris Jenner in here, Woody McDonald, Moses, Rosa. Let's see, Brandy, Josh Tattoo. Tristan and Tiffany. I might have said that already.
Rusty.
Jimmy
we have
Hensley.
Ray and Rusty. And
Yeah, Rusty Flower from DC Audio.
he said he finally found the place.
Ray Maestas, my boy from Stockton. What up? What up? Let's see here.
I love you, Rusty.
Let's see. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, hopefully you guys are watching from Sonic FX. Make sure you join that. If not, we cannot see your questions.
Yes,
if
sir.
anybody has any questions right now for JP, put them up there. Without your questions, we're gonna go ahead and just take over. We'll ramble on until the show's over or something. So put them questions out there. Let's see here. Yep. Much love from Rusty.
Thanks, bro.
Yep. So go ahead, Doug. I'm gonna watch for these.
Okay.
Brett Barber.
Gary Killian, Brett Barber. I'll see you.
Gary
Killian jumped in. All right.
Killian,
Oh, Kentucky's watching.
Mother.
Hey,
Yes.
so you brought up Scotty Johnson. I just talked to him today. He's one of our guys. He's going to be on the show here shortly. He's a little busy right now. Obviously, I hit you up today about this, and so we did have another plan. Next week, I got a special guest. My belief is we're gonna have Celise and Wayne Harris on here, and we're gonna talk about World Finals. Because this week they're spending and they're making announcements and telling about all the information about World Finals, and then next week we'll have them on. So, but Scotty Johnson. I knew Scotty Johnson when he was just a competitor. Same thing as you, right? Found a spot where, hey, you know what? Batteries are important. And
just
a
a
big
little
deal.
bit.
Yeah, and a big deal. And so he starts XS Power, right? Nick Wright with Incriminator. Just like you. He actually called me up, right? He's like, Doug, check this out. You don't know me. I don't know you. But he had his hustle. And so you know what? I helped Nick get started, right?
Awesome.
These people, most of the time it's difficult to do it on your own, and everybody needs help. So I'm sure there's tons of people that have helped you along the way. Like you said, Sundown wasn't going to give you anything, but David with PSI gave you your break, right? And without that, it wouldn't have led to more stuff. So
Right.
it's important. This as a whole, the car audio culture. I really try to promote that with this podcasting. The car audio culture is so important. I don't know. Have you even been to any of my shows? Well, I do know you were at the Forbidden Fantasies down in Laughlin. Any of that? Have you been to any of my other shows besides that one?
I'm not sure, like, cause I'm not like a big competitor, dude. So
Right.
it's very possible that I was at a show that you were at, but like I just sit over there and demo and like do my little thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even know what organizations are running or anything like that. I'm like, yeah, you want to go compete, go over there. If you want to demo, come over here with me. So yeah, I don't.
Brett Barber said the DC tank might be needing a Down for Sound sticker. And then let's see here. Gary Killian joking around says, does he sell the Omega 20K LOL?
That video was hilarious.
Will you be in Alabama, JP?
Okay. Yeah, I can address those real quick.
Yeah,
Brett
if you see
Barber,
anything, you want to jump in, and he's the one who who he is, right?
which one?
So Brett Barber.
Oh, yeah, he's a customer of mine.
Yeah, he's a good buddy of mine. He lives right by me. So yeah.
Yeah, he's a customer of Down for Sound. He's bought some stuff from me. So yeah, I'm familiar with him. And if you're serious, Brett, I have no problem shipping out you some stickers. If you would rep Down for Sound, I'd love that. I'd be greatly appreciative of it. So just let me know and I can get them sent out to you tonight or tomorrow. Just send me a message. Let me know what color you'd like and I'll get you taken care of. And like I said, I greatly appreciate it.
That thing's gonna be a beast. Oh my gosh, dude! I'm like so pumped for him. So pumped. And I know he's like,
it's gonna be nasty.
Yeah, I'm so pumped for him. So
my girl's in here. My babe, Jessica Perry. Shout out to her. CVD Fit Recovery. I gotta give her a shout out. She works just as hard as I do. I just saw her hop in there and she was dropping a bunch of hearts and likes. So you gotta show love to your girl, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And she's cool, man. She's awesome.
So,
Definitely.
you know, I know you're not familiar with our podcast, but we actually quite often talk about mostly me, but we do talk about we do talk about the people that help us, and you know, I give my wife a ton of credit. You know, without her support, no way I can do this. Like especially when we were talking with Nick, right? I mean, Nick Wright's wife is the core of his
Trisha,
business.
she's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
Trisha's great.
she's the core of his business. Wayne Harris, Celise. I mean,
Hmm.
for you guys that don't know, I mean, without Celise,
Sleaze does a lot.
Term Pro doesn't exist very well.
Yeah.
So no, I mean seriously, she does a lot of stuff for Wayne, which allows him to do what he does, and get stuff out to us on the development side and
Oh
programming
yeah,
and stuff. And
for sure.
if Celise wasn't there to do that stuff, you know, it would be difficult for him to manage both sides of the business. And I'm sure that's similar with yours, right? So.
Oh yeah, she's great. She, I know she puts up with me being gone so much. I know it's got to be a very difficult thing. Like sometimes, like if I'm at home for a really long time, she's like, when do you have another trip coming again? Because like I need a break from this duties too. Because I'm pretty wide open, like hustle, go,
Mm-hmm.
get up at 3:45 in the morning, like just get after it, and like so I know that can get kind of over the top, like all the time or whatever. So I could see like wanting a break from that a little bit, but yeah, having a great woman on your side is like, man, it's so crucial. It's so helpful, and I know like me traveling all the time and her holding it down at the house with Alyssa and everything is like I'm very grateful for her and my little girl. So it is very important to have a great girl and a very understanding one as well. Because
Yes.
like when I go to shows, like I'm so busy, and I try to take them with me to shows when I can, like Slamology, Scraping the Coast, and stuff like that, and try to make little vacations out of it as well. Like we'll mix some work and some pleasure at the same time, and they know like I'm not there messing around. Like I'm there like I have a laser focus. Like I got goals. Like I'm there to do business. Like interact with my employees and like my supporters and like everybody that's there for me. But I'm constantly getting pulled this direction, that direction. Like, hey JP, come sign this. Hey JP, come check out my system. And I'm just like all over the place. So she knows that, and when I'm gone, like I know it could be like something that takes a lot of understanding on her part. So I'm very grateful for it.
Yep, that's a big thing, right? So there's always that saying that if you're complaining about your man being gone all the time at work, then you know, you must like a broke ass man.
Right.
So.
Right. So we got Ray Myastis said, and I just hit you up the other day about this, JP. So Ray's, I don't know if you heard of Ray Myastis, good friend of mine. He's from Stockton as well. But I just hit you up the other day about it, and he said if you did a big show, that would be cool, basically. And when the reason I was asking you the other day is, you know, you do the base meet. I think was it 2018 when I went to when you hit me up to stop by your shop that we did the first base meet, or did you do one before that?
That might have been 18. I can't remember exactly. And it did it was a good time. It was a smaller setting. It was more personal. I mean, even though like a lot more people showed up than I thought. Yeah,
it was huge.
I mean, I literally just like started sharing it probably that day, like 5 hours before we actually had to get together. And I don't know how many people showed up, but I remember I was like, oh, I'll just order 10 pizzas or something like that. And then I was like, I saw people start rolling in. I was like, order another 10, order another 10, so pizza's just coming in and like it's just flying out like as fast as it was coming in. And I guess people like free food and drinks because they're rolling out like crazy.
And that was awesome.
It's even funnier to see people there that I know can't stand me, but they're eating my food though.
So I'll tell you what. Let me speak on that right now, man, because I'll tell you what, I witnessed that for myself, and I had to laugh to myself, like, okay. Yep. So I've heard what you said, but you guys are all here right now. And that was actually why I was talking about, you know, with the base meet at your shop, is there's so many people that go to it, like you or not, they're there. And I always thought, well, shit, that would be a good place to do a show. I don't know if it would let you even do that, or if you'd be interested in it. I know we just briefly kind of threw it out there in the air the other day, but I don't know. You've never actually thrown a show, right?
Well,
So,
not a show
DB
like
drag, pretty much.
yeah, no, not anything that had like an actual organization or anything like that. I mean, we called it the Down for Sound Throwdown, and people like, I mean, the last one, and this kind of is what makes me hesitant on doing another one. I learned a lot from the very last one, but it was insane. Like the last one that we did, there was so many people there. It got crazy, like especially later into the afternoon, into the night, people started drinking and stuff got crazy. And I'm like, man, I didn't like it because I want people to have fun and everything, but when stuff starts going, if you want to say sideways, like people out in the street doing burnouts and donuts and like this and that, all that riffraff, like I'm not a fan of that. Like I want people to have a good time, but like there's kids out there, like just have a good time, but keep it somewhat civil, not acting like a bunch of buffoons out here like acting crazy. So that kind of like scared me in a way on doing another show. It made me a lot more cautious. I'm like, I definitely want to have a lot of security. I want to have police there. I want to make sure not to like make people like, you can't play your system, you can't do this. Like, just I think if we just had some presence there, like people would be less likely to act fools. Like they wouldn't be out there doing donuts or burnouts or throwing beer bottles or stuff like that. It would, like, I think it would make it a lot more controlled in a way.
So you're saying, so you said that you did throw an actual show, or just the base beat you're talking about?
It was just like, it wasn't
the base
like,
beat, right?
It wasn't like a show. It was just like a get together. I don't know. You could call it a show. I called it the Down for Sound Throwdown, but it wasn't like again, it was only like a few weeks of preparation thing. And that's when we were at the other warehouse, and like the entire parking lot. No, this was a second one. It wasn't during like CES or anything. It was like another one. I'm like, let's do a show like in a few weeks. Like that's when I think COVID was like starting to be over with or whatever, and people were getting over it, and they were like wanting to get back out. Like our whole entire parking lot was full. The street was all the way full down the way. The next business's parking lot was full. Like there was people everywhere. Like it was insane. And then like obviously later in the day it started getting crazy. I'm like, can we cut this? Let's get this stuff out of here. So anyway, it was insane. But yeah, I know like I have like an insane following, and I could throw, I mean, people tell me that all the time, dude, you got to throw a show, man, you got to do a show, it'd be insane. I know, like having half a million or a million followers collectively online, like you could throw an insane show with that many people. Like it would take like a lot of homework. It would take a lot of, I don't know, resources, everything. Like people think that things are easy, but they don't understand the scale, like on getting, it's like business. Like you think of business like this big is one thing, but when you start thinking like this, like what it's grown into now, I'm like, holy crap, I never thought this. Like it just never crossed my mind ever. So
Rusty says he's ready for a party.
Right. The party that I have with Rusty is at his house with his dogs.
Yeah,
we sit on the couch. His fur babies jump up there. I'm like, hey, Hero. Like he has his dog Hero. I'm like the biggest fan of him. Like he's the sweetest dog. But yeah, we sit, like when I go over there, like our party time is literally sitting on their couches and like petting their dogs. So, that's what we do.
Rusty's pretty chill, man. I mean, me and you've hung out at the warehouse with him. Yeah, he's chill.
He's the best, man. I'm a super big fan of Rusty. Like couldn't have a more genuine guy. Like he's awesome.
Yeah, and going back to like, when you're talking about when you're at shows, you get pulled in 50 million directions, and I've had people talk about that, and they're like, he doesn't even talk to people, and he only looks at his phone. I'm like, bro, if you only knew, like, I've talked to JP several times. Me and you used to share our workout routines, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, dude, you got to understand something. That dude is getting blown up on Facebook and business wise. That dude is just so focused on the work. It's not that he's avoiding everybody or he's too good for anybody. He's just zoned in. Even when we're at the warehouse, me, you, and Emiliano and Rusty, you're on your laptop, working. I've witnessed it all myself. I try to break that down for some people to let them know, like, if you think he's ignoring you, you're fucking way off, dude. The dude's just a workaholic, So yeah, if people would just get that, you know what I mean. Let's see if there's any other questions, or if you see any in there, feel free.
it's hard for people to get it. Like when a lot of people only see things, and it's not just them, it's me too. Like you tend to see stuff only from your point of view.
Right.
When you've never experienced different things, like whatever it may be, like popularity, monetarily, well, whatever it might be, like you've never experienced these things. Like you can't, even if you try to understand it, you can't fully grasp it until you're actually thrown into this mixing pot. Like, okay, here, trade spots with JP at a show one time, and like see for yourself like what it is. Funny story is
they'd probably tap out.
Oh, for sure. Like they're like, holy crap! Like I can't even think for myself. Like as soon as like I go to check a message, somebody else, hey, can I get a selfie real quick? Can we autograph my speaker or my backpack or my wallet or whatever it is it being? Like they're like it's always something like that. Funny story is another shout out to Jess. Like she ended up, I've been looking for a videographer. I know my YouTube is very important for the growth. Like that's how I got started, was my YouTube. I've been looking for a videographer for a while. Because I go to these, I know Loki's brought it up a lot. I go to these business conferences and like I'm constantly investing in myself and like trying to learn more, be more. And I see like one of the guys that I follow a lot is a guy named Grant Cardone. And I've seen him from when he first started doing videos and stuff. And he was doing them selfie style and stuff. And then I saw like where somebody else started recording them. And I'm like, okay, he's got a videographer now. And then like how he's like grown since then. And now he's got like the last conference I went to, he's got like 5 videographers and like a whole team of production and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I could really benefit from having my own videographer, but I had to wait till I grew to a spot of where, one, I could afford one. Two, I had enough team members here that could deal with like more videos, more exposure usually means more sales. So I'm like, okay, like we're struggling to get caught up already. So I need to fix that part first before I get a videographer. So anyway, Jess is at this show with her business, CBD Fit Recovery, and she sees this guy, and like, come to find out his name's Kevin. But she's like, hey, I met this guy, like he's a videographer, he's shooting a bodybuilding show or whatever. And I looked at his Instagram, he does great work. I think you need to meet him or whatever. I'm like, well, I got to come pick you up. So like, if you'll introduce me, then that'd be great. So anyway, one thing leads to another. I kind of tell him what like I do and a little bit about myself. And I'm not really one to put myself like on a pedestal or anything. I'm like, I got a little following on YouTube, and like I'm kind of like, I do car audio and whatever. He's like, okay, cool, if you want to do some videos. So we worked out a little thing, and I'm like, okay, we're going to be going to this show called Slamology, and it's like a pretty big show, and I'd like for you to document that. Like that was going to be his first show that he documented me. And anyway, so he gets there, and like all these people are like following me around, and like he's like, okay, let's go do this, and we go do that, and then like one person pulls me this way, oh, come look at my show. And he's like, after the show, he's like, holy crap, dude, like I had no idea like what I was getting into. Like we tried to shoot this, and like somebody pulls you this way, we try to do this, and you get pulled this way. Like he's like, you totally undersold yourself. Like I had no idea that you were this popular, this big in in this industry or whatever. I'm like, man, I'm just a car audio dude, man. Like I'm just a bass head. I like doing it. I have fun. I've been fortunate to get to where I have, and like I just keep doing what I do. So, but it was funny to see how blown away he was, because he was somebody that had never been in car audio. He had no idea who I was, no idea anything about me, and he gets thrown into this mix of me going to Slamology, the biggest car audio show of the year. He's like, holy crap, man, this is insane. So it was cool to see his reaction from that.
Yeah, I bet.
We actually just talked about this last week. We were like, people come to the shows, and not even one time ever have I had somebody come to the show and say, that's exactly what I expected. I mean, these car audio things is, people think it's the guy beating down the street, making the noise and rattling his trunk. And then when they come to these shows and they actually see the passion that these competitors have, or these guys demoing their vehicle, the detail they put into how much time into building just a pod, an A-pillar pod, or, the way their box glows the way it glows, or they have the underglow, and the way their batteries are set up, the bus bars going across their batteries. And they're like, whoa, this is never once has somebody ever been to one of the shows and go, oh yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was. No big deal. They're always amazed. I mean, it's great. When people see the passion you have, for you, your passion for your business and your love of what you do with the bass is, it's undeniable, right? I mean, when people see you and when you sit in their cars, they see that you enjoy it and love it. That's really what
Right.
we're trying to promote here. Ultimately, is
Right.
that we all have a love for this car audio, and it's just amazing. We can do it in different ways. Like, I'm a judge, right? So my love for it is I get to provide people an opportunity to go off and show out their stuff. And
Right.
I've considered retiring. I mean, I've been doing this almost 22 years now, and I've considered retiring. But then I think back a couple of years ago, Ron DeLizzo and Christian Jensen, they both won the world champion ring. And I'm like, dude, if I retire, then these guys lose their opportunity to get that championship ring.
Oh, okay.
And
Gotcha.
so I would never, I don't ever want to be that guy that takes away somebody's opportunity, or I don't want to be the reason that somebody loses their love of the car audio industry,
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, and I see that with you too, right? Is you're definitely, I mean, I see you guys posting sales and doing
Giveaways
giveaways
like
like
crazy.
crazy, and you're trying, and realistically, what you're trying to do is promote people to get more involved in the car audio, right?
Speaking of which, since you brought up giveaways,
Yep.
okay, when you do a giveaway, and how do people know who the winner is and all that good stuff? That was one of the questions that got brought to me earlier. Was I see them doing giveaways, I don't see winners. How do people find the winners, or do you announce them when you do your live feed? This is the person that won, or how does that work? So people who haven't, followed through with the whole giveaway situation, how does it work?
Right. So when I do giveaways, like learning from, so it's all about it's always got to be a little bit about somewhat of a return. Like, you don't want to like totally give stuff away with people not interacting or something. So that's why I do like what's called thresholds.
Like it, share it, all that
Right.
stuff.
And if we, like, for instance, today I did like I started a giveaway for a Sundown banging package is what we call it. It comes with the Sundown SFB 2000 X series subwoofer and a dual 2 and an amp kit. This is about like $1,000 giveaway. So I'm like, if it reaches 1,000 likes and 1,000 shares by tomorrow at 1, we'll give this away. If not, I really don't want me to give it away, because keep in mind, there's 200,000 people following my page. So like the amount that I asked for the threshold or the giveaway,
nothing.
like, yeah, it's less.
Nothing.
It's like 0.5%.
Right.
So it's like it should be easily attainable.
Right.
But if I do this and I'm like, oh, just like it and share it, and it gets like 32 likes and 4 shares, like, I'm like, I just gave away $1,000 for 4 likes or something like that. I'm like, so that's why I set these thresholds on there, and it also motivates people to get after it. Like, hey, hit that share button. It only takes 5 seconds to do this. So anyway, when the giveaway happens, like, and we meet the threshold, then I'll go live like the next day, like, and I'll put like the in the title, say if it was this giveaway that we're doing currently, I'll put in there banging package winner announcement or something like that. So I'll go live and go over the package again, show what we're giving away, and like, congratulations to Lucky McGovern, you're like the winner of this package. Shoot me a message, claim your prize. Let's get together and get you this package shipped out to you free of charge if you're inside the United States. Blah blah blah. Anyway, that's how it happens. Like, we have to reach the threshold in order for it to be like validated.
Absolutely.
But to answer your question, like, that's how we announce the winners. Like, I go live, like, I announce the winner, and it's out there for everybody to see. The other thing that makes the reason why I do that is because it makes people be more engaged. They have to enable post notifications. So I actually just sold one of those packages. That's funny how that works. It popped up on my screen. Mega package sold. But anyway, so it makes people have to be more involved, and not only is it a share, but you need to go and watch the next live video to see if you were the winner. It's not like it's not like a one and done thing. You're like, oh, okay, like, whatever. And
gotta come back.
You gotta keep, like, it keeps that engagement, that
keeps engagement.
Right. Exactly. So that's how we do it. And I've easily given away over $250,000 in car audio, easily.
Yeah.
So there's nobody else like giving away as much car audio as I do. My accountant hates me at times. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I can see the bigger picture. Like, and
Right.
I like giving back to the community that's given so much to me. So it's just a win-win. Sometimes it doesn't make sense on the accounting side or the book side because she's like, we're taking losses like crazy over here because you keep giving shit away. And I'm like, well, like I know it'll make sense one day. So
Exactly. I
anyway,
agree 100%.
That's how we do it.
Yep.
Let's see. Adrian Hernandez, what's going on, bro? And he actually said I won my first DC level 312 from JP 5 years ago. Let's see. Dave Bradshaw.
That's awesome.
And then are you going to be attending the new Surf City date of October 1st and 2nd?
I'll tentatively say yes. My dad's birthday's on the 1st. My birthday's on the 3rd. We usually do like some sort of get together for all my family around that time, and their anniversary's on the 3rd and 4th. So
what you're saying is they're going to come to then.
Right. They are not a fan of super loud music, I can tell you that. I do. Everybody's like, you need to get a demo with your parents in your Tahoe. I'm like, I did that once a little bit with my mom. It was hilarious.
I
Like,
saw
she's
it,
like,
yeah.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. But yeah, I want to say tentatively, like I will be there. I love the Surf City show. It's a great show. The weather is very mild. Like it's usually cool. And usually my man Jacob Fuller flies up there when we hang out, and we go eat at the Thai spot around the corner like 12 times while we're there. It's like the best Thai place.
The pad Thai,
it's the best spot in the entire United States. I swear. We go there. I think we could just go there most of the time to just like eat the Thai food, but the show's pretty good too.
Oh, and there's a show going on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's why I always tell people, man, surf is one of those places, dude, that it's not just the car audio. Like I would go there just to go. Like it's just an awesome ass place. I love it. That was actually that was the first time that I met you. Actually, that was
yeah.
You got a demo in the first piggy bank that I had.
That's when you had the nightshades.
Yeah, exactly. I had everything in there with Sundown. Everything. I mean, RCAs, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. So yeah, as soon as and then you posted the video of you getting a demo in my truck, man, and shout out to you, man, because it was like when you did that, boom, I just started getting subscribers, you know. And then when I hooked up with Steve Mead, he got a demo in my car, and you know, he was giving me his shout outs. You were giving me your shout outs, and it was like then I started blowing up, and it was crazy because I'm not on your guys' level one bit, but it's crazy because I'll go to shows and now I have people that want to take a picture with me with their trophy they won, you know, sign, you know, one of my shirts that I sold or had or whatever.
That's how it starts though.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's an awkward feeling because, you know, you guys are doing huge things, you know what I mean? So I watched, matter of fact, your video, the one you filmed at Sky High. And Isaiah was one of the guys who was like, you know, we got the big heads out here right now, you know, JP and Steve Mead, Lucky McGovern. And I was blown away. My name got put in that mix. I'm like, gee, this is crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, that's the thing. Everybody starts with this many followers.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody.
Yep.
So.
Well, that's good stuff. Hey, it says here you were supposed to grow a mustache, Mr. JP.
Oh, was I?
From Rosa Espinoza.
Sure.
She says, speaking of stash, weren't you supposed to grow one, JP? I believe you.
Man, I have. Like, sometimes I don't know what my social media guy puts out there. He's like, he'll put anything out there. If JP gets 1,500 likes and shares on this picture, he'll get a tramp stamp on his back. I'm like, what? Like, I didn't sign up for any of this. What the heck's going on? But we have a good time though.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But yeah, Steve Wendell. Yeah, Steve Wendell. So he was at the show. I don't know if you know Steve. He's up there in Reno, but he has a spectacular stash. He's got the little like the evil guy from the old, like the old gonna tie a girl to the train tracks porn stash.
Oh Lord, man!
I told him that thing gained him a DB.
Yeah,
nice.
When he was at the show.
Very cool.
Yeah, we got some stuff in here. Oh man, I just scrolled past it. Damn it. Anything new coming to Down for Sound?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was one of the questions I saw.
So
I know I saw your amps when I was in there.
Drop something. Yeah, we're working on coming out. I guess like the most. I have two things that I'm pretty excited about. One of them is like we're coming out with some like bigger amplifiers. We'll probably end up like having a full suite of amplifiers. Obviously, we came in with the JP23, the first amp like that we came out with, and then we did the JP234, the JP84, the JP8, which is like all of these are like your run of the. Well, I don't want to say run of the mill, but if you're getting into the game, like obviously you want to get into what your fastest sellers or movers are. So like you don't want to come out swinging with a 10K and not have like a 2K or a 1500 or 1000 because like you'll sell I don't know 100 2Ks to 18300 or anyway. So we came out with the little guys first, and now like we have a bunch of prototypes on the bigger ones. Like so since my initials are JP, the I don't know what you want to call it, the way that we're going is like 23 33 because it rhymes, like JP 23, JP 33, JP 43, like everything ends with a 3 for that reason. It rolls off the tongue well. And I've had the name of Down for Sound like dissected by a person that does that, and they said it's like perfect, like and that could be one of the contributing factors for it being so successful, because if you have a name that is something that it easily rolls off the tongue, people are like, it's easy to remember, like people say it a lot more, like instead of something like that's 12 miles long, they're like, I don't even want to say the name of that because it's ridiculous, like it's too long. So it rolls and it flows well. Same thing with like JP23 or our lithium battery, the LTO 6.0, like everything. If you notice, like most of them have some sort of flow to them. If it doesn't, it just couldn't possibly have it because it wouldn't make sense. Like the JP95, like it's a 5-channel. What else would you call it to be a 5-channel amplifier? It had to end in a 5, right? But anyway, so we're coming out with, like, we have some prototypes in the works for like a 33, a 43, and also a 83. Most people are like, the most sensible thing would to be like do a 33 next and then a 43, and move our way up to the biggest ones and offer something that like could help anybody, like whatever you're trying to get into, like a little guy that needs a 1,000-watt amp, or a dude that's wanting to run 4, 8, or 10Ks, like we got you. But in saying that, so I'm excited about those, like bringing those other amplifiers to the market. I also a lot of people are like, oh, since you're coming out with your own amps, your own product line or whatever, isn't that backhanding the people that have helped you all this way? And my answer to that is there's always a right and a wrong way to go about doing things. A lot of things that I do are in collaboration with other companies. For instance, my mids and highs that I do, it says powered by Defbonts. Like, I teamed up with Defbonts to do these. So I like there's certain ways to do things where you can do it the right way. And for instance, that same thing with Sundown, like I'm doing bass packages using their subwoofers, and that's something else I'm excited about us coming out with right now. We had our loaded enclosures that we came out with a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago. It takes a lot of back end work. A lot of people don't understand how much back end work something takes to bring it to your doorstep. But anyway, we did a bass package, a single 12 and a dual 12 with the Sundown SA series, the SA Classic series subwoofers. This is the most popular, the most sold 12-inch subwoofer in the history of Down for Sound. So I'm like, man, if we could put those in our budget banger boxes, our profabs, that would be awesome. They're specifically made for the subs. People would love them. We know they would perform well because the box is made specifically for those, so people would have a great experience with it. And sure enough, we did the single 12 loaded enclosure and then the dual 12 loaded enclosure in team with Sundown. Now we have not only those being made, but now I'm like, okay, let's do like the lower models too, from the SA series down. Like, so the E series is under the SA series, so we're doing single and dual 12s in the E series, and then one notch down from that is the LCS series, so we're doing single and dual 12s in the LCS series too. So no matter where a person wants to be starting out, like very beginner, they could do a single LCS sub is 300 watts RMS. They could do a 500-watt amp, and like they could be up and bumping in a couple hours, like, and getting this package or whatever. They want to move it up a notch, cool. We got a single or a dual E series. They want to go up a notch from that, got a single or a dual 12. But in saying that, like, I do so many things in collaboration with like these other companies that have been there for me. And my goal with Down for Sound is to offer something, but also to remain number one, like provider of their products as well. Like I try to always not get distracted from my main mission from day one, which was like, I want to be the best seller, the biggest seller for these brands that I offer. And I want to always continue that. And if I can offer something else for somebody under the Down for Sound name, and a lot of times in collaboration with these companies that have helped me along the way, awesome. That's a win-win for everybody, and that's the right way to go about doing it. So those are a couple of things I'm excited about. The amps, and also the loaded enclosures. I think they'll be very popular. I mean, the amps that we already have out, like they've we came out with those. I think we got our first one in like around 7 months ago. I actually just posted this as well. We've done over $1 million in sales of our amplifiers in 7 months. I don't know anybody else in the history of car audio that's done this. Like, and I know a lot of people in car audio, like to start 0 amp offering to $1 million in sales in 7 months. Like, I would love to meet them if they did. Like from nobody to like $1 million in sales in an amp offering. So that's I would say fairly successful launch on like a brand.
No, absolutely. So we're rolling up on an hour. We got the other stuff we got to get to afterwards. You could call those like a top dog package and a base race package. One of those things that anybody can get in and they can compete with. Because realistically, those base race and top dog, anybody has an opportunity to win in those. Lucky will tell you he loves those things. You have great turnout. I mean, in top dog, you can do a 119.9, right?
Nice.
Which is nothing. But you can do as much as a 159.9. It doesn't matter. You guys all put in the same class, and you just come out there, try to control your system, and have fun.
Right.
Okay, so real quick, remember we have all this stuff. It'll be up on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, any of those streaming services. Usually about an hour after the show, I'll have them posted. Where are they going to go to get all your stuff? I'm sure most everybody already knows, but tell us about how to get a hold of your products.
Yeah, so my products and all of the products that I offer from Sundown, DC, Excess Power, McMahon alternators, like we offer a bunch of different things, but downforsoundshop.com is my store, and it's always been that. So yeah, if you want to swing through and if you need anything, hit us up. And we got a ton of I've been hiring more and more people, obviously trying to keep up with the demand. Luckily, we have that problem of having tons of orders, and I'm grateful for that. And again, I would never take it for granted. Like, I know a lot of people get to a certain point and they get lazy, they get complacent, and they just get unfocused. And like, I don't want to be that. I want to be always laser focused and keep pushing this thing, because at the end of the day, a big thing for me is making my parents proud. Like, my dad came from Germany when he was 7 years old, and like they moved over. Like, he didn't know any English, he didn't know anything. Like, they were literally dirt floor poor. Like, they lived in a 1-room shack in Kentucky, and he had it hard. A lot of people thought that they had it hard. Try moving to an entire different country. You have zero idea. You don't have an app on your phone back in that day. You don't even have a cell phone. You don't have any way of communicating with anybody because you don't speak English. You only speak German, and you get transplanted into this place in the middle of the woods of Kentucky, and you're over here just he said they stuck him in class or whatever just to hear the words that are coming out. That's the only way that you could learn back in the day. So he's like sitting here just like not knowing what's going on, not knowing what's being said or whatever. But they lived like that their entire childhood. My grandma and grandpa, like he said, they tried to work as hard as they could to make ends meet, and they all had multiple jobs and everything like that. And he said, he talked to my grandma at the time, or his mom. He's like, I don't like living like this. I hate being poor. I know there's something I can do about this. I got to figure something out. And the only thing that he knew, he wasn't smart. The only thing that he could do was work. He knew how to work. So he got a job, doing like a paper route, then a milk route. And then he started working in the fields and working on the farms and stuff like this. And he's he's been a penny pincher his entire life. People say he's a tightwad and he squeaks when he walks and everything like this, but
I love it.
he knew he did not want to be poor anymore, and he did everything he like. And him not being the smartest guy, like when you aren't, the only thing that you can trade for is working your ass off. Like you have to, like, that's the only thing that you can trade it for. So he's like, I'll be a workaholic, and that's what he turned into. Like he would outwork anybody in the room, and he eventually passed that down to me when I was a kid, and taught me how to cut grass and everything like that. And that was my first hustle, was cutting everybody's yards on the street and kind of like saving my money up for, at that time, just saving it up to blow it on something. But it taught me to like the value of $1, and like you have to work for stuff if you want it. He always said that, him and my mom, you can have anything you want in this life, but you got to be willing to work for it. And the harder you'll work for it, the more successful you can and will be. But your opportunities aren't going to come up to you. You're going to have to, like, the boat's not going to come by. You got to swim out there after it and get it. So, I think the thing that keeps me going at like the end of the day is knowing how hard that he had it. And he didn't give us, like, a lot of people were like, oh, JP started like with a silver spoon in his mouth. His parents gave him everything, this and that. Like everybody is always trying to justify their inaction of not doing stuff, not putting in the work. They're always trying to point the finger at something, like to make themselves feel better about like not achieving something. Like they want to try to discredit what you've done to whatever, make themselves feel better about themselves. So they come up with all these things like that. And JP's parents paid for everything. They gave him a loan. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's never had to work for anything. Like anything that you can think of, I've heard it, like, and more. But so in knowing that my dad did, like, in comparison to where he started, like not knowing a language, living on the dirt floor, like in a one-room shack, like with his 6 other family members, like in the same, like literally poor as hell, and knowing that he provided me a start where I had a house with air conditioning, like, and we had vehicles, like that's how, like, I think life is all about perspective. And like, so I'm like, when I see, like, I think I'm having a hard day, or see somebody like, oh, my day sucks, like blah blah blah, I'm like, bro, you got a cell phone, you got a car, you got internet, you got this, exactly, you got internet to be able to go complain about your bad day or whatever, like your perspective is messed up. Like, so I always try to think about that when I think like my day is getting long. I like, man, it's Saturday. I woke up 6 days in a row, 3:45 every day. Like I'm putting it in. Like I'm tired. I'm like, man, think about your dad, man. Like he was doing this. Like he got it way harder than you did. So that's
your dad didn't have poopy pants, right?
Right, exactly. He didn't care. He got after it. Like he made it happen. So.
Anyway. My kids tell me all the time, I'm not you, Dad. I mean, I own 4 businesses and I run a 5th, right? So, you know, and my kids always, well, I'm not you, Dad. I'm like, I wanted to put you in a position that you didn't have to worry about stuff like I did, you know? And I'm sure your dad did the same thing, right?
Exactly. That was his thing. Like so in teaching me how to work, how to cut grass, and how to, the value of $1, basically, when I was younger. And he never gave us anything. If we wanted something like a dirt bike or a 4-wheeler or something like that, like no problem. And he, luckily, he did very well for himself working for another company. He worked on the river like his entire life, or the Mississippi River, on a boat called the Neal Deal, with a company called Ingram Barge Line. It's one of the biggest towboat companies on the Mississippi River that transfers like coal and a bunch of other stuff up and down the river. But anyway, he became like through saving, sacrificing, like everything, he became a millionaire from not, he would probably hate me if I said that, like he's a really humble guy, but like, I'm like, man, that's the American dream. You went from nothing, not speaking the language, living on a dirt floor, to like, everybody like has this, well, not everybody, but a lot of people have this dream, oh, I want to become a millionaire or whatever. Like, you did that through the hardest way possible. Like it takes to do it working for somebody else is very difficult. Like, and like to do that, it takes a ton of sacrifice and a ton of saving and sitting on that money, like letting it get into that interest where it's like really rolling it in. So it takes a long time for it to get to that point. So it takes a lot of sacrifice. And knowing that we as my family, me as a kid, never had to do without. We always had food, we always had shelter and clothes and stuff like that. We had the necessities, but if we ever wanted something that was maybe a little frivolous, like a dirt bike or something, no problem, but you have to pay for half of it. Come on, Dad.
Nice.
Like why
Nice.
you make it? Come on,
Yeah.
man. You don't love
Nice.
me.
Yep.
It
nice.
never made sense to me until like
Yep.
later in life.
Yeah.
Right.
No, hey, so that's the kind of thing we love to talk about on here too. Is what inspired you, what put you where you are, and your dad absolutely for you. Like I said, for me, my wife is my other half because I'm a very long-term thinker, and my wife's more the short-term. Combined, we do well. People say my life growing up was really not good, but it showed me no matter who you are, where you came from shows you either where you want to go or what you don't want to do. And then it's up to you as a person to make the decision to follow the path that
Right.
makes your life better. And it's awesome. Your dad is such a huge influence in your life. Not everybody has that. And,
Oh, exactly. Like I said, like I tell people like the biggest thing that my parents gave me like was my work ethic. Like that's what like they think it was money, they think it was a silver spoon, they think all these things. I'm like, it was work ethic that like I will outwork. I'm not the smartest dude out there by any means, like by far. But like if you think you're gonna outwork me, you got a hill to climb. Like I will work until, but I got that from my dad because I know like that's how so now I know like if you have that, like you have a unwavering work ethic and you also combine it with a little bit of smarts, like a little bit of figuring out like things, and you also like the further I get in business, like the more, and I go to these business conferences and like they call me out on stuff. They're like, man, why are you working for yourself? Like, why are you being so selfish? Why is it just you? And I'm like, and like hearing all these things at first, you're like, man, I'm kind of offended. Like, what the hell? Why are you calling me out? You don't even know me like that, bro.
Yeah.
But like, it makes you think about things that you normally wouldn't. And I'm like, crap. Like, you sit down and you kind of like take it all in, and then you're like, man, like I am being selfish. Like, what am I doing? I'm working 120 hours a week. Yeah, I want to make all the money. I want to do all the work. Nobody's gonna care about my business the way that I do. Like I want to me. And then like something one day it was like it just clicked. I'm like, man, like I'm not spending any money. I mean, I'm not spending any time with my family. Like I'm working 120 hours a week. Like I literally, and that's something that Jess like brought up. She's like, you come home like you at 9:30, 10 o'clock, you go to sleep, you wake up at 4 o'clock, you do it again. You're not here. I'm like, but I'm trying to like get this thing figured out. I'm trying to make it where like it'll be something that'll provide for us, and like for a while like they're understanding, but after a while as well, they're like, are you really trying to do something? Like, are you just like you don't want to be around here or whatever it may be? But so like but eventually like it clicked in my head. I'm like, man, I really need to get team members to like start duplicating yourself, and then also finding people that love doing something that you maybe not even know how to do. You like, I need somebody that like me, for instance, doing YouTube. Like I knew how to sort of edit videos, like sort of piece stuff together, but I wasn't good at it by any means. Like they were really basic, really cut and dry. I'm like, man, if I could get a videographer, somebody that like they absolutely love shooting video, they love editing it, they love doing all the flares and the pops and the wow and like grabbing everybody's attention. I don't have time to do that. But if I can get somebody that is pay them for what they're great at. So getting them, like getting people on your team that love doing, like love being a part of your mission is so important. And like now Down for Sound has grown to be something way bigger than me. It's it provides a source of, and this is so much more fulfilling than any amount of money that I could ever make. I've already made like enough money that like more than I ever thought I could have, and I say that humbly. And in saying that, like I know something that makes me feel really fulfilled is knowing that Down for Sound is something that provides a consistent and comfortable source of income for my team members.
Absolutely.
That gives me like a source of win, like in within me that I couldn't, like, you can't put a price on that. If I didn't care about people and I didn't care about my team members, I could sell everything at Down for Sound and retire today. Like, but it's not about me anymore. It's about my team members, and I care like so much about them. Like it's crazy. I never thought I could care about these people, but knowing that they'll go to bat for me, like they work so hard for me, is very fulfilling for me, and I want to always return that favor for them as well. So it's been a huge learning curve for me, but man, it'll make you feel great when you're doing it for the right reasons.
All right. So, hey, real quick, I got two more things for you. One,
Okay.
Gentleman named in New Zealand, Jody. He wants to know, do you guys ship to New Zealand?
Jody, we do ship internationally, like all over the world, almost every day now. Luckily, grateful for that, because it can get insanely expensive. But we do ship internationally. To get a quote on that, the best thing that you can do is go to downforsoundshop.com and create an account, grab whatever you're wanting, and put it in your cart and select checkout, and it should populate a shipping quote for you.
All right. And then Dave Bradshaw, while he's making Lucky a sandwich. And you better hurry the hell up because Lucky's almost done here. I know. But anyway, so Dave's asked like 9 times, what's a discount code? Do you have any discount codes, or where would they go to find a discount code?
Currently we do not. We're held by strict pricing guidelines for each company. It's called MAP pricing. We have to sign contracts with them. So the only time that we're able to do like discounts or codes or something like that is when they authorize them. And right now we're struggling so bad to just keep product in stock. To discount it is like shooting yourself in the foot as a business owner. Like it's gonna sell anyway. Like, so to discount it, like to sell it at a discount is like wasting money in a sense. Like if you don't buy it, somebody else is gonna buy it. Like like we're selling stuff so fast right now. Is again, like I never thought like I would have reached this level of car audio sales or anything. It's bananas. So pretty crazy.
Okay. All right. So and then I got Lucky's favorite question.
All right.
How do you define a bass head?
What is your definition of a bass head?
That's Lucky's favorite.
Yeah, a bass head to me is somebody that just loves anything about car audio. It doesn't have to be the craziest system. Like you can, and I run into this a lot. Like people like having a following and being somewhat popular. People are dying to know your or to get my validation of their system. Right. I'm like, man, and I tell them every time. My response to that has never changed. If you like your system, I love it. Like it's like that's the most important thing. Like don't ever build your system for somebody else. Build it for what you like. Like everybody is unique in their own ways. Build it for you to like it or you to love it. And if other people end up liking it, great. If not, F them. Like it's your system. Like you listen to it every day. Like make it what you want. So don't look for external validation of your system if it's what makes you happy. So to me, like that's what it is. Like a person, whatever makes them happy with their system. Mine just happens to be a little over the top, 618s, 100,000 watts, 3210s, 32 tweeters. Like whatever makes you happy, like then that's awesome. On mine it's I see Joshua Tattoo just said your system is your fingerprint. Exactly. It can be if you allow it to be, if you don't let a bunch of these external people say, oh, that's going to suck. Like, why are you going to face your subs that way? Like some of them may be rightfully trying to help guide you in the right direction. But if they're telling you, oh, don't paint your box pink, but you need to paint it purple. Like if you change your mind on that just because they said, even though your favorite color is pink, like you're not going to be, you might have made that person happy, but now you're like, I wish I would have done it pink. Yeah, exactly. Like, so you gave up your happiness on like trying to make them happy. And it's like that, not just in car audio, but in life as well. So many times people they spend their entire lives trying to make other people happy. And at the end of the day, they're miserable. They're never happy with themselves. And like the next thing they know, they're 70 years old. And they're like, I've never been happy because I've always been trying to make somebody else happy. Do what you do, like make yourself happy, and like I'm also a big believer in you have to take care of your house before you can take care of other people on a level
Yes,
that's
sir.
really going to benefit them.
Right.
Like so many people, same thing. Like they worry about what other people think. They're always trying to help somebody else, and like a lot of these people that do that, it's commendable, it's respectable, but bro, hell, you need to help yourself. Like
Right.
you're struggling yourself, but somebody said you're a great dude because you gave away your paycheck to this person. I'm like, you're not gonna pay rent now because you gave away your paycheck. It looked cool on Facebook, but now you're in a worse off position than you were. So anyway, you need to anyway, I know I went on a little but that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's what we're looking for. Hey, we really appreciate you being on here.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you want to hang out for a couple minutes. We're gonna go over the upcoming shows, or if you need to get off, it's up to you.
No, it's fun. Like
okay.
I always set aside, like when somebody like has me on their podcast or show, like no matter how big or small it may be, like I don't take these things for granted, and I'm appreciative of them. So like I block off this time. I tell my team members like, hey, I'm not available for the next hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever it may be, and like they know to continue operations without me.
Okay,
so I'm here for y'all's
okay,
help
so
or whatever.
Hold on a second. I'm going to just go over this real quick. I brought up for everybody else to see on here the upcoming shows for this next this weekend. There's the one show in Grapevine, Texas. It's a 3X. Also, Newport, Tennessee has a 3X coming up. Tipton, Michigan has a 2X. Oneida, Wisconsin has a 2X. Then we got Poland. That's the first time we've seen a Poland in a minute. Fresno, that's the what's that called, Lucky? It's the soldier one.
Basing for Heroes.
For
Heroes.
Yeah, basing for Heroes. That's a 2X in Fresno. Remember, get your points so we can get to World Finals. Also, if you have got your points, you need to get your DB Drag membership so you can compete in World Finals out here on the West Coast or the East Coast, wherever you are. Make sure you get your membership. We have a couple Alberta, Canadas coming up, 3X on Sunday the 12th. Columbus, Georgia, 3X. We have Greenville, Michigan, 3X also. We got Russia. We got Mexico on the 12th. We got Alberta on the 25th. Now the 19th, Lebanon, Tennessee, is the last day for points for World Finals. Look for a show coming on the West Coast from either myself or Lucky. So we'll get that. So there's the upcoming shows. Also, it is Rosa. Is it Espinoza? I believe it's Rosa Espinoza. Moses.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, it's Moses Martinez's. It's his lady, and it's her birthday today. So Moses said happy birthday to her. So
Feliz cumpleaños, mi
that
amigo.
too. But I know you don't know these people, but so they come to all our shows over here, and they are a party. So they are their own party. Yes, it says Espinoza. So yes, they are their own party. They're great people. They're fun to have around. They're awesome. But once again, smash the like button, smash the thumbs up. Whatever you got to do, the heart button. Visit Down for Sounds if you're in Vegas. Is your shop open to stop by and say hi and purchase some product?
Yeah, we have. We literally just put up a video, I think yesterday or the day before, of a guy from the military stopping by. But a lot of people always message and ask, like, can we stop by or whatever? And this is a funny story too. So many guys will be like, hey babe, let's go to Vegas. Like they're all making their girls think they're like, oh, like
just going to Vegas.
My man wants to take me to Vegas. And I'm like, this is so awesome. Like we're gonna go on the strip and all this. And then sometime in their trip to Vegas, they're like, they end up at Down for Sound and they're like all fangirling over meet me and stuff. And their wife's like, now I know why we came to Vegas. It wasn't because you wanted to take me to Vegas, because you wanted to go see JP. It's always a funny thing. But yeah, if you're ever in the Las Vegas area, like I'm not always here. Obviously, I travel a lot, but my team members know, like, if somebody wants to stop by, that's fine. Like if they, well, we call it the 1 minute tour or whatever. If you want us to like walk you through and you see my office and the bathrooms and whatever, like, we'll walk you through and show you the product and everything. And we're humbled and grateful to have people come by. And you can purchase stuff here. It is easier if you purchase it online and mark it as a waiting, as you want to pick it up or whatever. That's easier, so we can get it ready. We can get all that done. But yeah, we love to have visitors and people stop by. I love interacting with my fans and supporters, and I know 100% I couldn't be where I am today without the support of my friends, family, fans, supporters, whatever you want to call them, or one or the other. I couldn't be here without their support ultimately. So it's awesome, and I'm grateful for it. So yeah, stop on by, shoot us a message. We'll make it happen.
From one little thing here, JP, you've always been you've always been a solid dude with me, man. 100% respect for you, bro. Since the day I met you, you've been nothing but cool.
Same.
Yeah, it's been a
touche. It's like that to you as well, man. And something, I know it's not just in car audio, but since I'm so deep in car audio, I see it this way. But it seems like you can't even be in car audio. It seems like you can't even be a fan of somebody without like everybody. Oh, you're a nut hugger, man. Like you're cool with JP. Oh, nut hugger. Like get his junk out of your mouth. Like I'm like, you so childish, man. Like I mean, like I said earlier, like man, I'm a big fan of Rusty. I love the dude. Like him, Scotty Johnson, like he's like a mentor of mine. Like I'd do anything for Scotty and a bunch of these other guys. Like I'm like big fans of theirs, big supporters of theirs. Like hey man, how can I help you? Like and people are like, oh, you're a nut hugger. Like I'm like, call me whatever you want to, bro. Like
right.
From way down there. From way down there. Call me whatever you want to.
I break it down to people that, in my conversations. It's like I said, since the day I met you, you've invited me and my son to your shop. Then next thing you know was, hey, let's throw a base meet. We had a great time. You fed me and my son. Anytime we've got together, we hit it off, had a good time. And you've never, ever done wrong by me. I've never heard you, nothing. So to anybody out there, if you met him, you're going to know that he is fucking part machine for sure. Your work ethic is just fucking undeniable. And there's a reason you're as successful as you are. And you're good in my book for sure.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I'm big on like, and what I think what may turn people off somewhat is a couple of things. One, like I'm very open, like especially with like the new levels that we're achieving with Down for Sound, like the sales and like posting these money things and stuff. Like this is like I've always shared my journey from day one. I've never wavered. I've never changed. Like people just come into my like they find out about me. Like, oh, this dude's a prick. Like all he cares about is money. Like like they say all these things. They haven't known me since 10 years ago. Like when I was doing the same exact thing, I was super excited about getting $1,000 in sales. Right. So, but nobody said anything about it then. They're like, oh, okay, cool, man. And then, but when you post, you did $300,000 worth of sales in that day. Oh, you bragging, man? Like, what's the deal, bro? Like, you think you're better than us? Like,
if it ain't motivating somebody, then they're just haters. That's all it is. And I've said that from day one. If it doesn't motivate you, then there's something fucking wrong.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I mean, I want to keep, like, I've always shared it since day one, and like I always want to keep it going and helping people along the way that I can. Like I know Rusty's saying amazing guy. He also did a huge donation to the dog we were helping. Like I'm big on people's energy and giving them back what they give me. I'll treat somebody with ultimate respect until they don't give it, until they come at me sideways from the get-go. Right. Hey man, like you want to be like that? All right, let's go. Right. Like you want to treat me with disrespect, you want to talk crap about me, I'm gonna give it back to you. Like that's what you gave me, so I'm gonna give it back to you. And they're like, oh, JP sucks, man. He said this to me. Like, look what you said to me. Like I can't say it back to you. You said it to me, but now it's a problem because JP said it.
I've been there a million times. Oh, and also before I forget, thank you for always sponsoring the shows that I throw. Me and Doug, thank you for always sponsoring. You've always been there for that as well. So. Yeah, salute.
It's my pleasure. Like, it's my pleasure. Like, I always try to give back. I mean, through the products or like to shows that people that have helped me along the way, whatever it might be. Like, I always try to give back to these people when I can. Sometimes I have so much capital tied up in my projects. I'm like, this toy is gonna cost me, bro. I might have to skip my lunch on this one. But yeah, I always try to give back. I always try to think of others as well.
All right. All
Good,
right,
Doug.
guys. Well, yeah, we got to wrap it up. We're just about out of time for our what we got here. Once again, we like to thank Johnathan Price, JP from Down for Sounds. Great story. Love to get the background. It makes you more human to the rest of the people that think of you as somebody way up here. You started down and you raised yourself up. I'm a big fan of raising yourself up. So these stories are hopefully an inspiration to people. Obviously, you're a big deal in the basehead community in providing product, providing deals all the time with people. It's been awesome. Lucky, we didn't get to talk about Beat the Boss because you weren't there at the last show, but we'll talk about it again. Remember, we got a show coming up here. Remember, I will never discourage anybody from going to a show. Please attend any shows in your area. Remember, you guys got to support the shows. If you don't support the shows, they go away.
Right.
If there's no benefit to the shop or the sponsor having the event, then the event goes away. So keep that in mind when you guys attend a show. Remember to clean up after yourselves. I will say the guys on the West Coast are freaking awesome. Dude, they do a great job. They walk through the parking lot afterwards. I had 0 complaints from Baldini's. We did 4 shows there. Brian Nyman's. We do, with the amount of people we get in that such a small space, you guys clean up great. Remember, don't just respect my shows, respect all shows. This is what it's all about. Everybody come out, have fun. Once again, we want to thank JP, Johnathan Price. We're going to thank Team DC Lucky. Glad to have you with me, my brother. And remember, just be out there, have fun. Catch us every Monday night, 6 p.m. on Sonic FX on Facebook. Also, we're on YouTube on Sonic FX Doug. We're on This Week in Car Audio on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, and all your other streaming services. So, once again, guys, thanks for tuning in this week, and we hope to see you again next week when we have potentially Wayne and Sleaze Harris. We'll get that going as soon as we can. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.
All right, have a good night, y'all.